Hi guys, this is this month's to read shelf. It is the 1st of May when I'm recording this, so I've actually managed to get it at the beginning of the month for once, which makes a change. I had an absolute disaster last month, or the last month that I filmed anyway. I got rid of at least half of the books that were on that shelf. It was ridiculous. It was seriously crazy. I don't know what happened. You might remember that I had some of the trilogies on that shelf, like this trilogy, Chaos Walking, whatever it was called, trilogy, the Young Elizabeth trilogy. I had that on my shelf. I got rid of both of those. I went back and read the first Hilary Duff book, and according to my Goodreads, I last read it in 2012. So I thought, yeah, well, I'll go back and read the rest. Could not get into it. I read the first book, it took me so long to read, and I was actually bored reading it, you know? It doesn't make any sense how you can go back and reread a book that you read and you enjoyed beforehand, but then this time you don't like it. And it's really put me off rereading books at the moment. You can probably see that the 5 People You Meet in Heaven is still sitting there at the moment. I'm currently reading The Immortalists, which I actually got for my birthday just a couple of weeks ago, and I've been so looking forward to reading it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It had a bit of a slow start, I would say, but it was quite intriguing at the same time. So I'm reading that, and then I think I'm going to go and reread The 5 People You Meet in Heaven before the sequel of The Next Person You Meet in Heaven. I don't think the first phone call from heaven is a direct sequel. I think I said that in my last video, and I don't actually think it is a direct sequel, but I'm going to read it anyway because it's all like heaven, heaven, heaven. I'll just read the 3 of them together. But what was really annoying me about this is because I only got The Next Person You Meet in Heaven recently. I didn't have that in the last video, but it's so annoying. I've got this Harper Lux book almost. Can you see the difference there between the books? They don't match, and it's so annoying. See, Harper Lux, and there's a bit in the back of it as well. It describes Harper Lux. And it's like the new luxury in reading, and I can't find a different copy. This seems to be the only copy that's out there at the moment. I don't know, it's like almost like a large format self-published book, I suppose. I'm just a bit gutted because now my set doesn't match. Is a major bugbear of mine if sets don't match. Like, I've got rid of them now, but halfway through the True Blood series, they started changing the books. So I originally started with the kind of original covers almost, and then they put them into the TV show tie-in cover, and I didn't like the TV show. I think I watched the first series or so, but didn't really enjoy it. It started off good, but just went weird. And then I think I was in the end just reading them for the sake of reading those to try and finish the series, and I have only read one other Charlene Harris book since then, but it's the same as the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Vanovich. Those have changed format so many different times. I've actually started getting the hardbacks now. Big rant, beginning of the video. Let's get into this and let's see what we have for this month, and I hope it's going to be a bit more successful than it was last month. To begin, I have a book by Michael Morpurgo, I think it is. It's called Casper, Prince of Cats, and this is obviously a Titanic related book. Isn't he a gorgeous cat though? I mean, look at that wee face. How could you say no to that wee face? So yeah, this is a children's book. There's lots of illustrations dotted throughout, and some full page illustrations which look really nice. They're kind of like almost pencil drawings. That's what they're made to look like. Kind of simplistic. Double page one there. I'm trying not to break the spine of the book. Well, it was bought used, so it's broken a wee bit, but I don't want to break it anymore. But it's really awkward when they do double pages like this because you can't really get into all the detail. And the illustrator is Michael Foreman there. I'm a bit unsure about these kind of books, like with animals as a kind of lead character, so to speak. There is actually a Titanic film that I have somewhere. I think it's down there. And it's a cartoon, and it's one of the weirdest films you ever did see. Like, there's lots of animals in this. I think I've only seen it once. I may be forgetting, but it's got that kind of almost Disney character feel to it. Oh yes, it is all about the animals. Whenever I see a Titanic book about animals, it makes me think of this film instantly. I also got The Bees by Laline Paull, I think it is. I really like the cover art of this. Changes the way we see our world. I'm not sure how this will be. I think it was kind of an odd sounding book, and I'm not sure what made me pick it up now, because when I move my books along, so when I clear off like almost a full shelf, I move the books along and I don't really pick them up again until I come to film this video. So I kind of look at stuff like this and I'm like, wait, why did I buy this again? Was it something I'd seen on Goodreads? Was it something that was recommended on Amazon? I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how this is going to be. It might be kind of one of those kind of odd books that works, but I'm being a little bit put off at the moment because we've got at the top here, got a quote from Emma Donoghue. Now, I liked Room. I haven't liked any of her other books. We've got a quote at the bottom from Madeline Miller. Didn't like The Song of Achilles. Haven't read any of her other books. And I did not like The Handmaid's Tale either. We'll see how it goes. It's quite a thick book, as you can see. And then we have The Silent Sister by Diane Chamberlain. A nice, typically thick Diane Chamberlain book, as they always tend to be. I do like Diane Chamberlain books. She's really interesting. She always, like, for me, Jodie Pickle and her are on the same kind of level. They write intriguing books each time that you never would have read, and people try to replicate it all the time, and I just don't think they have that magic there. I don't think it works sometimes. I've got this one, which I've heard a lot about, and I know there's 2 sequels to it so far, I think. So it's the Rossi Project by Graham. There's his surname. I don't want to attempt it. I'm going to completely make a mess of that there. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've also heard that one of the sequels isn't that good. I know someone had posted about it on my Goodreads the other day, and I saw it and I'm a bit like, eh. I've not bought the other 2 books yet. I know, I think the 3rd one's not long out in hardback, so I'm a bit iffy. I don't know yet. I might read this and then see what the other 2 are like, or if it makes me want to go on to read the rest, if you know what I mean. It does sound really good, actually. I have been looking forward to reading it, but I'm just always a bit like, when you see that kind of thing, is the rest of the series going to disappoint? I've also got Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. I'm not sure. So this is a book set during the Second World War. Don't know who she reminds me of. She's got a good look of someone. When I look into her eyes, she reminds me of someone. I can't think right now who it is. I don't really think the blurb gives much away for this. I think it's just got enough there to actually suck you in. And there is a sequel as well, Rose Under Fire. We'll see what it's like. I mean, I bought it used at the time. It's quite a thick book. And it's actually, I wouldn't even say it was used really, because the spine is untouched, as you can see there. So hopefully that'll be good. And we'll see what the sequel's like. It's not big text, so probably aimed at more of the kind of young adult people. I have The Palace Library by Stephen Loveridge, another book that I bought you. Oh, hey, I have a signed copy for Sean. Of course it would be Sean, wouldn't it? Or Sean, as I used to say when I was young. I used to think it was Sean Connery. For Sean with best wishes, Stephen Loveridge. I like the font they've used for his name there. I always find it funny to look at people's signatures, because you think Loveridge is going to be quite a long signature, but then it's just like, ugh, just a scribble really. So I've got a signed copy of that. I'm actually really happy. This sounds kind of intriguing again. Again, it's kind of a young adult book. The text isn't that big or dense or anything like that. So hopefully that'll be good, because I really want to keep that now. I like to keep books that have signatures even in them, even though they're not dedicated to me. I still like to keep them, because it's like, well, why would you throw that out? Why would you get rid of that? I mean, that's something special. That is a signed copy by that author. I mean, fair enough, I've never heard of the author author before. I just bought it because it was like the Palace Library. Next up, I've got Brewers Rest by Jess Smith. I've read the rest of her book. She is kind of a travelling girl, travelling family, that sort of thing. She did Jess's Journey, and it's a real insight. It's really good at actually into the lives of travellers, the abuse they get and everything like that. So I've read a couple of her books now. So you had Jess's Journey, then you've got Tales from the Tent and Tears for a Tinker, or the S shelf if you want to call it that. So this is more a kind of fictionalized sort of story, maybe sort of based on stuff she's experienced. She's a really good writer actually. She's really engaging. I do like this. I don't know what originally got me into the series. I can't remember now quite rightly. I think it was one of those books that you just pick up along the way and then, oh my god, 2 in a row! Lillian, John. A powerful love story. Hope you enjoy. Jess. I wonder, that has to be the author, doesn't it? It has to be the author that's done that. I mean, I've bought this used from Amazon. Used, very good. I mean, the spine is uncreased again. But if that's the author that has actually signed that, oh, I really hope it is. But if you look at that, it's like she's almost made spelling mistake on Lillian there. Is it Lillian? I'm reading that as Lillian. It's like she's put a T in or something. But I really hope that is the author, because that would be, again, a signed book. And I'm all about that life. Then next up we've got a Sylvia Day book. So we've got Afterburn and Aftershock. So I think this is 2 books in one, considering how thin it is. I don't think they're going to be long books. Is this a sequel? Next up I have The Universe vs. Alex Wood by Gavin Extence. And I'm not sure if this was my book, if this is a book that my dad has given me. It feels familiar for some reason, but at the same time, I can't think that I've ever bought it. Hopefully it'll be good. Again, it doesn't really give you an insight into the book, I wouldn't say. It kind of leaves you like, okay, so I want to know what happens now, I need to read the rest of the book. Spine is creased. I'm not sure if we've bought it used or if I've bought it used. I'm not sure if the spine creasing is even showing up there, but not too badly creased anyway. Then I have the Titanic Hero, which is the autobiography of Captain Rostron of the Carpathia, which is by Arthur Rostron. I mean, this is a large format paperback and it's quite thin, but it's so heavy. I mean, just holding it here, I'm like, oh my god, my arm. So that sounds quite good as well. I mean, it's quite dense text with some photos. Also kind of letter copies there. So hopefully that'll be good. I mean, I think it'll give you an insight. I mean, Carpathia always gets mentioned because it went to the rescue of the Titanic and it took people out of the water and everything. But at the same time, even in like the film version, it gets brushed over really, and that seems to be where the story kind of ends. So it'd be nice to see more of what happened on the Carpathia. It does come up in some of the like kind of accounts, or it does come up in some of the fiction books as well that I've seen. So next up we've got a chunky book. We've got Letters to the Lost by Iona Gray, and I really like the cover art. I mean, it's simple, it's good housekeeping. Read the recommended books. Okay then. I really do like the cover art of that. I really like these kind of books. There's quite a few kind of around this period of time which kind of deal with letters being sent or letters being found in the present that relate to the past, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping this will be quite good. I mean, it is some fair size though, but it does sound really interesting as well. It's 554 pages if you include like the author's Q&A, the acknowledgements, etc. I have the Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. And I'm sure I got this for really cheap on Amazon actually. I'm sure it went down to only like £2. And I really like, again, I really like the cover art of this. I like how, I feel like there's almost paint there on that rose from the yellow of the title. Don't know if I'm just being silly there, but I like how it kind of goes around. There's also almost red there on the thorn as well. Again, I'm not sure what attracted me to this book. It's reading over the back of it just now. It's been a good wee while since I actually bought it, so I'm not sure what intrigued me to it. If it was just the cover, if it was just the fact it was cheap, I'm not sure. But we'll see what it's like. I do like the cover art, and it's sounds interesting. I'm sure I've skipped over this book before, so I'll maybe have to try and read it. I went through a phase of buying all these kind of books, like people with autism, people with... want to say I've got a book somewhere of people with OCD, but I'm not sure if it's been read or it's to be read, that kind of thing. And I've got this one, which is Life Interrupted by James McConnell, the true story of a life driven by Tourette's. Now, I don't think I've had any experience of Tourette's majorly. I think the main experience I've had was watching Big Brother back in the day with Pete Bennett. I think I have his biography as well somewhere, but I'm sure I've tried to read this before and I couldn't really get into it. But I know Tourette's, it isn't just swearing and saying stuff, it's also the twitching, the involuntary movements as well. So I kind of want to read this so I can have a bit more of an insight into that kind of thing. It does sound quite interesting. I think the time before I either just wasn't in the mood for it or I just couldn't. If it's the book I'm thinking of, it's going to be hard going to read, I reckon. And then next up I've got One Summer by David Baldacci, I want to say. I don't know why I bought this. I don't know how many times I say this each video. I don't remember why I bought this. It sounds good. I feel like I've read another of his books before and I'm looking onto my B shelf, but I don't actually see any of his books, and I feel like I've read something of his before. You know when you get that feeling about the name, the author's name? I feel like it's something from when I was younger, like maybe a young adult book or something like that I've read before, and maybe that's what's made me pick up this book because I recognise the name. Next up we have a ex-library Doctor Who book called Time Trips, and you've got different... oh, Joanne Harris. You've got different authors in here. I like to find out where ex-library books are from. So it was from the Sandwell Metropolitan Borough Council. I don't know what any of the rest of it means. Any librarians out there can probably tell me. It was withdrawn possibly the 19th of March, but it does say £20 there, so maybe that's when they got it in. I've got a whole host of Doctor Who books coming up at the moment. So these are kind of tie-ins that were released maybe last year, something like that. So we've got Rose, which was obviously the kind of reboot with Billy Piper and why his name suddenly left me. Christopher Eccleston, that's right. I'm going Christopher Ellison for some reason. I don't know who Christopher Ellison is, but it sounds like someone that used to be in The Bill. So I kind of like that they're doing these kind of novelizations almost of some of the episodes, because we've got one of Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper, then we've got one of David Tennant and Billy Piper, which is Christmas Invasion. This is by Jenny T. Colgan. She did a book in the Time Trips as well. And then we've got The Day of the Doctor with Matt Smith and David Tennant. And I'm sure I've said this before, but Matt Smith was when I kind of quit watching Doctor Who. I couldn't get the storyline, couldn't understand what was going on. I tried Peter Capaldi's one, couldn't get into it. I did watch all of Jodie Whittaker's series, but I don't know, it was like a really hard slog. I wasn't inspired to watch it. I would put off watching it, like I would record it and say, right, I'm going to watch it, and then never get around to it, and I always was just finding better things to do. For me, I've not properly watched and enjoyed a series since David Tennant left. And then next up we've got Doctor Who Time Lord Fairy Tales. Now I actually got this out the charity shop. Who put this out to the charity shop? I mean, this is a gorgeous edition. I love this book, and like I snatched this up as soon as I saw it in the charity shop because it was on my wish list. So again, it's like 15 short stories by different authors. Doesn't mention any authors at the beginning there, so I'm not sure if it says who's written what, or if it's just random people that have been chosen to write about Doctor Who. It's not like Jenny T. Colgan or anything like that. It doesn't actually mention anyone, but I think that'll be quite good. Who in their right mind put that down to the charity shop? Then next up we've got The Jewel by Amy Ewing. Again, it's one of those books that I have to pick up because it's got the gorgeous cover art, and of course I love that dress. Sounds interesting. I can't really think if this blurb ever intrigued me at the time or if it was just simply the cover art that made me buy this. I'm not sure. I mean, it is beautiful cover art. Kind of reminds me of the Selection series. I think that's what it's called, by Kira Cash. Can I actually see it just up there? I haven't read those yet. I managed to get the entire series and I still haven't got around to reading them. But they had gorgeous like cover art as well. They were beautiful, and I think again, that was the reason why I bought those. I have The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. I am supposed to be grieving, not falling in love. Again, another beautiful cover art with the roses against the blue and the little heart doodles. That sounds kind of intriguing. Another young adult book. One of those ones that kind of came out at the same time as a couple of other books I've read. Then I have a very odd title, Mateship with Birds by Carrie Tiffany. Can you guess what I'm going to say? I don't remember why I bought this. I mean, it's a thin enough book. I'm just not sure if it was the kind of unusual title that attracted me to it or if it was the blurb. It just sounds very odd. It really does. I seem to be saying that a lot this video. Then I have When We Were Bad. I don't remember why I bought this book. I think like we should play a game, a drinking game. Every time I say I don't remember why I bought this book, you should take a shot. So it's by Charlotte Mendelson. Yeah, I don't know why I bought this. I really don't. Like, that's probably like 3 shots you've taken in, what, space of 5 minutes? Then I've got The Cry by Helen Fitzgerald. I'm sure I've either read another of her books or I've got another of her books somewhere. Now, is this not there's a TV series based on this, am I right? And it's got Jenna Coleman from Doctor Who and Victoria. I haven't seen the TV series, if it's the same one that I'm thinking of, and I didn't make the connection. I've had this for a wee while. It's obviously what I'm thinking what the TV show was based on, so I might try reading that and then seeing if the TV show's any good. I don't remember if I missed the first episode or something like that. It wasn't very long. Then I have The Forgetting Time by Sharon Guskin. Guskin? I think I'm saying that in my head. I feel like I'm saying that a couple of different ways, but when it comes out it's been said the exact same way. I think this will be really interesting. I actually remember buying this one, guys, so put the shot glass down, please. I do remember buying this one because it really sounds interesting. Like the whole remembering past lives and everything like that. I find that I have another book. I saw it when I was shifting my books along, actually, which is more of a biography, true story kind of thing, about a boy who could remember his past life. And it's really, I find it really interesting to hear about that kind of thing. I do believe in it. I've not experienced it myself, but I do think that maybe not people saying, oh, I was Cleopatra, I was Queen Victoria, blah blah blah. I believe that if you have a fear in this life, it's something from a previous life, if that makes any sense. Not sure if I'm wording it correctly. And also I read something that sometimes if you have a particular scar on your body or anything like that, it can reveal how you died in a past life. I think that I read a lot, like I have a subscription to the Chat It's Fate magazine, if anyone's ever seen that or read it or anything like that, and it goes into a lot of those kind of past life and paranormal stuff as well. So I find it quite interesting, but I've never experienced it. And then next up we've got Dancing at the Victory Cafe by Leah Fleming. I really do like her books. This is one of her more thinner books though. She does kind of write quite thick novels quite a lot of the time, so I have been collecting her books for a little while now. She's written a couple of duffers. A couple of ones I've read recently haven't been that good. includes free short story, The Recipe. So I've read The Last Pearl, that was good because it was half based in Scotland. Don't think I've read that one yet. I've read a couple of other of her books though, and she's really good. If you like kind of Lynn Andrews, Katie Flynn, that kind of thing, I would definitely recommend picking up some of Leah Fleming's books. Next up, I've got, I never know how to pronounce her name, like Katie Sagal. Is that how you say it? I've got her very thin biography here, Grace Notes, My Recollections. I think she is beautiful, like she is absolutely stunning. I remember watching, was she the mum in 8 Simple Rules? I'm having a complete blank moment now, but I've seen her in quite a few things, and she was also in Lost. She was Locke's fiance, girlfriend. I think that'll be quite good. I'm looking forward to reading that one. I actually got that as a Christmas present, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, but I think that'll be really good, really interesting, and just look at that face. I also have The Wish Granter by CJ Redwine. I really, again, like the cover art of this. This was also a Christmas present. I'm not sure, put the shot glass down, why I added this book to my wish list. It's got a nice kind of mat on the inside, but reading over that blurb there, I'm not 100% sure why I added this to my wish list. Maybe it was something to do with the description on the back there. The stories say the Wish Granter is an ancient fey creature who can grant you the desire of your heart. They don't say that in 10 years he'll return for your soul. And I haven't read The Shadow Queen. I'll maybe see what this one's like, or maybe look at The Shadow Queen as well. So last but not least, guys, we have The Next Together by Lauren James. Again, another really nice cover art there. And this sounds really good. Put the shot glass down. I really like this kind of story. It really intrigues me that there is someone out there who is your soulmate, who you are meant to be with, and if fate or something is either getting in the way or keeping you apart, then you will find each other in the next life. I'm kind of going a wee bit letting my cookie side out. We're all entitled to our own beliefs. It doesn't need to have happened to me in order for me to believe it, and I'm not saying that I would like it to happen to me, but I think it's really one of those things that I just believe in. So that is the end of this month's shelf. My battery is just about to run done, so I'm glad I got that all out of the way and done in one battery. Makes a change. I'm hopeful that this shelf will be a bit better than the last shelf, actually, because last shelf was just a disaster, but there's quite a few books that are quite good on here that I've been looking forward to reading. There are obviously a couple of books that I don't remember buying. That is your last shots for this video. I will do my usual. The list of books will be down below with my ratings. You can look back at the previous ones the previous shelves that I've done. Got any questions or recommendations, anything like that, check out my Goodreads as well and my Amazon reviews, and I will see you all in the next video, and hopefully it's a little bit longer before the next video, because that'll mean this shelf will have been a good shelf and not a disaster. So I hope you have a lovely day, and it involves a good book and not too many shots. You're not all absolutely hammered now after watching this. Hopefully you are reading a good book, and I hope that The Immortalist continues to be good as well, because I'm just over 100 pages into it at the moment and I'm really enjoying it. Bye!